Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for another Facebook Live with this elite panel. Let me introduce them all, and then I'll let you guys go around and introduce yourself. We have from the lovely state of Nevada, Las Vegas, number 9 last year in all of Nevada, Delinda Crampton. We also have Linda Salkow from. Thank you. Sorry, I stepped over you there, Paul. Sorry. We have Linda Salkow from Arizona. She was #1 individual agent in the whole state. Linda, welcome to the show. You guys can't see my studio audience, but they're all behind me here, as you can hear them. And from the desert, of California, let's be specific, the desert of California, Palm Springs, we have Mr. George Lopez. George, welcome to the show. All right. We even have Bozo the Clown today. All right, well, let's start with Delinda. Delinda, tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, all that good stuff, please.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm originally Floridian and moved here back in '98. Was working in the TV news time, and then 21 years ago, I wanted to do some investing in real estate, and my husband said, "Hey, why don't you get your license? You can keep the commission." As we know, not exactly the reason to go get your license, but then I realized that I wanted to make it my full-time career, and that I had just found something that fit my personality and was a passion.
Awesome. Yes, and it definitely fits your personality, right? You do a wonderful job. All right, thank you very much. And Linda, how about you, please?
Well, I'm originally a Jersey girl. Moved to Arizona in 1996, and I'm going into my 24th year in real estate. I got my license in 2000, and that's pretty much it. I started out grinding really hard and letting everybody know that I got my real estate license. I was looking for business, and interesting enough, the first 4 years when I was out here, I wasn't working for the first time in my life. I wasn't working, and decided 4 years later I was bored of golfing every day and working out and just doing nothing. So I got my real estate license because I was always in sales. Thought it would be a great opportunity. And during that 4 year period of not working, but meeting a lot of people out here, those are the people that ended up being my sphere of people and started to call me and refer their friends to me. That's how my business started.
Awesome. Yeah. Now you play a bunch of golf and sell a bunch of houses in between. I love it.
Well, more houses than golf now, but yes.
Good. Yeah, I love it. And George is going, boy, that 4-year job sounds like a good one for me, right? George, you love playing golf. So George, tell me a little about yourself too, please.
So I am a California native, born and raised, moved from Northern Cal to Southern Cal, been down here for 32 years in the desert. There is real estate in my background, meaning my mom's a realtor, has been for over 30 years in NorCal. But I jumped in the market about 18 years ago when the foreclosure market hit. And it was a great transition. I came from the restaurant business, which was always client-centric, as we are now. So it was a natural transition for me. I took that customer service type mentality and I've applied it to my business here, and it's done very well.
Yes, you have, my man. That's why you guys are all here. You guys are all doing extremely well. And let's talk about that, because you guys all do it a little different. Linda hinted a little bit, but let's get into it, Delinda. Tell us a little bit about maybe the main parts of your business, how you produce sales, what you do exactly, please.
So I work mainly by referral. 90% of my business, at least, is by referral, and then the rest comes from I've got a couple farms and I get some internet stuff, but I will not pay on the front site for internet leads. I think that's a waste of money doing Zillow and stuff. So I don't cold call. I call people who are my clients, my sphere of influence. They know me, they like me, they're happy to hear from me when I call. Do lots of contacts. So I send out a monthly item of value that's kind of like a newsletter. I do 6 client parties a year. The last one that I just had a couple weeks ago was Shred, Dump, or Donate. My next one's going to be in August at the Firelight Barn Dinner Theater. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then I stop by with little gifts when I'm in the area. Did that yesterday, surprised a couple clients, had great conversations, and found out some leads one of them had. And then what else do I do? And I'll call, I'll send handwritten personal note. I do a lot of intentional realtor relationship development as well. I have made road trips out to California 3 different years and met with top agents, lunches, coffees, happy hours, attended sales office meetings in some of our feeder markets like the Bay Area, Orange County, LA. A big chunk of my business comes from the realtor referrals as well around the country. And
Yes, I was
I
going
don't
to
know, we're
say
just always
that's one of your
doing
big
new
ones.
stuff.
You go to a lot of conventions.
I do. I do. Yes. I last year went to like 10, about 10 events, I think.
That's awesome. All right, awesome. All right, Linda. Thanks, Linda. How about Linda? How about you?
Way back when I first started, I only had a couple of friends who would refer business. It was early on. So I got a lot of my business from online, from my website. They were, we didn't have really social media back in 2000. If we did, I wasn't doing it. Anyway, I would get a lot of leads from that. And so I was going on what I would call blind dates. I went on a lot of blind dates, mostly for people looking in the desert mountain community, which is where I live. And I never sold anything. I would tell people, I'm not selling you anything. I'm guiding you. I'm giving you information. Drive them around to various communities like Desert Mountain, and then they make the decisions. Through the years, I don't do quite as many blind dates as I used to. A lot of my business, like Delinda, comes from referrals, clients, things of that. So I'm more of a warm body person. I do not cold call. I don't solicit business to people from people I don't know. I'm very uncomfortable in that. In I'm kind of shy, which is hard to believe. Um, One-on-one, I'm good, but in a group, not quite as good. So a lot of my business now, my past clients and whatever, I get calls all the time for resources. I've always made it available that you can call me anytime. I always pick up my phone, and they know that. So if they need a plumber, electrician, anything like that, I have all the resources in my phone. So I do a lot of share contacts probably daily with past clients. They're always looking for something. So, and they still reach out after 23, 24 years later. So they're still reaching out to me. And as far as my daily work, it's really just hanging at the club. I try to go out for breakfast by myself to the different clubhouses at Desert Mountain. We have 7 golf courses, so there's a lot of restaurants to choose from. We have 8 restaurants. So I pick and choose which ones I feel like going to, and I'll hang out at our fitness club, not working out, but I hang out at the fitness club with coffee or something and just see who's walking in the door. It's really more for memory so that they don't forget you. But I like to do it physically as opposed to, I do a once a month newsletter, but I like to be seen a little bit. So that's sort of how I network with people, just to remind them that I'm still in business. I love it when someone says, "Are you still working?" I said, "Yeah, actually, I am." Because if they don't see me, they don't know I'm working. So, but
Right.
if they see me, then all of a sudden I trigger something, and it's that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much what I do. It's a tough job.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, and you're so damn good. Didn't you start off early on in your career too, doing like all day open houses all week in certain areas too?
Yeah, open houses has always been my thing. I love meeting and greeting people. Once again, when they're walking into me, then they're coming to me. I'm not like banging at their door. So open houses has always been really good for me for picking up some new clients. Um, when they walk in, of course, we always give them a look around. But I have an app that I use, and I like it very much. And it's through Homestack. It's another company, and it's I probably every time I'm at an open house, I share the Homestack app with them, and I say, listen, you're doing it. You're looking at open houses, and you can query it by, active, under contract, what's for at open houses. So I show it to them. I actually demonstrate it to them, and I said, would you like me to share this with you? So I immediately get all their contact information right away, and then they log into it, and boom, I see what they're doing. I give them some time on it. I reach out to them and saying, hey, I see that you've been looking at this house 16 times. You want to go take a look at it, So that has been really a great source in the last, probably 5 years. And I use that all the time. It's really good for me.
That's great. Yeah. I love
Yeah.
it. We have the Mobility RE app too. I call it MLS on your phone because that's what it does. Basically gives them all that information. So, all right. Awesome,
Yeah.
Linda. Okay, George, how about you, my man?
Well, so my business has changed over the years. When I first got in the business, it was mainly sphere of influence. I've been here for a long time, so I know a lot of people. And then I just got to a point where I decided in order to grow my business, I had to adjust. And what I did is I really kind of studied what's going on in our market, what's moving. Recently had to make an adjustment recently when interest rates went up. And it's really more about identifying what's moving. And a good piece of my business is actually online leads. Now, of course, I have a team, so we're doing the leads to support the team as well. Our area is different from a lot of areas because we're a vacation destination area. We have a lot of people that own second or third homes here. So I focus on the clientele that aren't necessarily interest sensitive, where we have additional marketing going out to 55 plus community and luxury community. And that's what's really been working for us lately. When things change, we read focus again, but we're very adaptive to what's going on.
I love it. Hey, George, you can give him, go ahead. Here's my lucky hat for Monday. You can give him the plug. Go
There you
ahead.
go. All right, so we are doing a fundraiser for Sunshine Kids. We've got our golf tournament that's happening on Monday, 12:30 shotgun at Palm Valley Country Club. It's going to be great. We didn't quite reach all our numbers on our goal, but we have a great turnout and we're excited for it to raise money for the Sunshine Kids.
Yeah, we just finished ours in Las Vegas. And now we're having one. George is headlining the one in the desert of California, and then we also have one in Linda's market coming up in June. Of course, we picked June for Arizona. Anyway, right? It'll be a blast. All right, thanks, George. All right, I got a very interesting question. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say last year it was August. That was not good at all.
Yeah, June is definitely better. Thank you. Yeah, early June too. All right. Yeah, last year was hot, but it was still a blast, and it was a really good thing for, obviously the Sunshine Kids are great, and I really got even more turned on by them this convention because I got to meet 4 of them, and we heard them talk and tell their stories. It was amazing. So always a good thing. I'm glad that Berkshire Hathaway has picked the Sunshine Kids as their main charity because it's a really good thing. All right, George, thank you. All right, I got a really interesting question sent in by one of you. Delinda, you might recognize this one. All right, so in this business, we're talking to top producers, and people think sometimes you have ups and very little downs, but really you have ups and downs and trials and tribulations and peaks and valleys, and you guys ride the roller coaster too. So, Delinda, how do you deal with that when you have that going on in your business?
Well, one of the things I love about my business is I don't really have the peaks and valleys anymore. And I think one of those reasons is I just stay consistent in everything that I do. And when you keep marketing and when you get crazy busy, you still have to keep the oar in the water and still be doing your reach out and your contacts. And eventually in business, you hit what's called the tipping point. And when you hit the tipping point, you never worry about where is my next client coming from, my next referral. I don't have to go hunting and pecking for it because I know they just come in steady. Some weeks more than others, but we never have a month where we don't have any closings. We never have like a full valley. We might dip a little bit. Like in April, we had 3 closings, whereas normally we're closing more like 8 to 12 a month. So, but it wasn't a complete valley. It was just a little bit of a dip. And we don't see those very often. Normally, we're very steady, closing about the same amount every single month. And I think it's just you got to be consistent and you got to keep the marketing out there.
Right. And when you say consistent, you mean on all the things that you mentioned, answering that first questions with your sphere, and I know you do a lot of the Brian Buffini things, which is pop buys and notes and all that good stuff, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, people say, "Oh, you're such a great marketer," and I think it's just that I've done the same thing so consistently over the years. I don't think I'm an amazing marketer. I do a lot of things that other people do.
Right. And I would say in the last year or two, you've really turned it up on your social media too, haven't you?
I've started doing more videos. I have a marketing director; she posts stuff, but I've started being a little more intentional about trying to post personal videos at least 3 times a week or so.
Okay, cool. Cool, I love it. Yeah, because I think that when you're consistent, when you have this big sphere of people like you have, and they're hearing from you and they're getting stuff from you, and then you're connected with them on social media and they're seeing you talk and so forth. I think that's a really good way to make sure, when they think of real estate, they think of you.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. All right, I love it. All right, Linda, how about you? Many peaks and valleys, or is your roller coaster pretty flat?
My roller coaster right now is on stop, almost. Uh,
Good.
like George, I work in the luxury market, and the car movers are heading out right now. So there will be a little bit of a lull for the summer, which is actually normal for me. So I don't really worry too much about if I'm doing a lot of business over the summer, because I know usually in the first half and first quarter, last quarter is usually where I do a lot of my business, or first 2 quarters and the fourth quarter. So, but it is a little bit touchy this year. Inventory is very low. My buyers are still available, and I do reach out and I just give them advice to just be patient. The houses will be coming on, and I do speak to a lot of all the local agents up here who work in my community, and ask if they have anything coming up, or pocket listings and things like this, so that they, if they could share, and many of them are not right now sharing because they're trying to save them for themselves. Uh, but I've always been very consistent. I joined Berkshire 10 years ago, and in the last 10 years, I'm probably the number one agent for the last 7 years. Um, but I don't do the volume, the units. I do more, individual houses. So last year I only did 14 units, and still made it to number one. So it's really, I don't have to be busy all the time. In a way,
Yeah, your
that's
sale
really good
price is
for
really high.
a balanced life. Yeah, it's really good for the rest of my life. I don't have to, be stuck at the computer and whatever I'm doing. And, I know the inventory inside and out. Um, People know to give me a call. And if they forget, I still send my reminders or whatever I'm doing out here. Or since a lot of them are gone for the summer, they're starting to leave now. Um, I just send out, I don't do note cards or whatever, because everyone's always traveling. So I never, I'm always afraid I'm going to get lost in the shuffle there. So for me, I'll just pick up a phone, or I will send out an e-blast, or excuse me, an email or something, just reminding them that, it's going to be a good time this fall if you want to list your home, things like that. So I've always been kind of steady. And if I happen to have a little bit of a hiccup year, it doesn't matter to me that much anymore, because I know that things will adjust. And I've been adjusting for 24 years. I've gone from, a babe in the woods, basically, to now I really enjoy helping the other agents in the office more, uh, trying to teach them more about communication skills, which is really important in our business. Um, Understanding when somebody walks in the door, or if you're having a phone conversation, let them do most of the talking, listen well, and so I have a slew of agents in our office that will call me for any time, and I encourage that. I don't handle paperwork or any of that kind of stuff. We got the managers to do all that kind of stuff, but they know they can always confide in me, talk to me, and I'm there to listen to them, and maybe give them some guidance along the way. So that I've taken on a new role, and I'm very happy with that role. It's not an employment role. I don't get paid to do it. I know I've been encouraged by the upper management to take on a different role and get paid for it, but I don't want to take their money. I've done very well in my years, And I just want to help others right now. So it gives me more joy to do that. So if I'm slow a little bit, I pick up on the other end, and that actually makes me feel good.
Yeah, and while you were talking, I mean, other than thinking, what you're saying is your handicap is highest at the beginning of the end of the first quarter and lowest at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's what I heard in there as well.
Yeah. And George, long time ago, I was a 5 index. So I did have game at one point in my life. Right now, I'm probably an 18. So if that gives you any indication, work can get in the way of practice. But you know what? I've achieved those goals as a golfer. I've achieved my goals as a top agent, and I hope I will continue doing that as long as I'm able. But bottom line is, whatever will be, will be. We can't make something happen. If you just have to be patient with it, it will come. But if we worry about it and stress about it, that only makes life worse. So you just take a
Absolutely.
dip in the pool and do
Absolutely.
something different. Yeah, exactly.
George is a good golfer. He plays well. He did, as far as I know. What's your handicap, George?
No, so I'm an 18, and I don't have the time to practice and focus
Oh,
on it.
okay.
I'm one of those
18
weekend
still
warriors,
good.
but we have a great time.
I feel good because I'm a 15. Woo!
There you go. Nice.
All right. I love it. And you know, the other thing about all three of you is I do training. Delinda has done training with the company. I know George has. I know you do, Linda. You've all come to my training. You do your own training so you guys are all, you love to learn and you love to help. And I think that has a lot to do with how well you do in real estate too, and in life, let's face it. All right, George, how about you, my man? Same question.
So, like Delinda, my business, it took some years. In the beginning, I definitely experienced those peaks and valleys. And it just took some time to develop that base and be consistent. Just like she said, stay in front of those people, be consistent. I mentioned that I do a lot of online leads, but that's mainly for my team. I typically don't work those leads. I do my business from my spheres of influence, my people that I know. And again, it's just being consistent. We have tough market right now. It's been a challenge when rates went up. So, we had to identify, what do we need to do? First thing is be laser focused. Be consistent. You have to be. I always say, I work a lot harder when business is down versus when business is busy. It's just putting in more effort. So when we talk about number of transactions, sure, they're down, but I'm not experiencing that. Oh my gosh, where's my next piece of business going to be? We're still closing transactions every month, not as many as we'd like to. So we just have to work a little harder.
Yeah, totally agree. I love it. Great stuff. All right, so here's a question that I don't have on the list, but I just thought of it while all of you were talking. So, Delinda, what's one thing you think they should hear? If I want to go, out of the gate hot as a realtor, or if I want to take my business to the next level, what's that one thing that you think all independent contractor, real estate agents should hear?
I would say do the hard stuff first. Put the big rock at the beginning of your day, because if you have all afternoon open and you're like, oh, I'll do the calls this afternoon, stuff will come up. Client needs will come up. And inevitably, whenever I did that, the calls wouldn't happen. Stuff just gets in the way. So block out, do a power hour or 2 hours and get the big rocks, the hard stuff, the most important stuff done first, and think about, okay, if I could only do one thing today, what would be the most productive revenue generating thing I could do for my business, and do that first.
I love it. Do the hard stuff first, or as Brian Tracy would say, eat that frog. Right? I love
Exactly.
that. I've never totally understood that because I can't see myself eating a frog, but I understand the concept. All right, cool. I love it. And Delinda, you don't call it prospecting, but you have a contact goal per day, like how many clients you want to talk to, correct?
Yeah, I typically I would say I'm reaching out to anywhere from 15 to 25 per day.
Yeah.
As far
I
as
just wanted them to hear
calls,
that.
Wow.
you just want to what?
I wanted them to hear that because you do it a little differently, but you have a goal of people in your sphere, your clients, your past customers that you want to talk to per day.
Yeah. And then every week I want to do at least 5 drop offs with gifts. And I want to do at least 5 personal handwritten notes every week.
Cool. I love it. You know Dick Crawford, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So he has his own
Good guy.
what do you call it, label. I think it's got his face on it too that he puts on over the ketchup and he drops those by coming up soon in summertime. Love Dick. He's such a joy to talk to every week. So awesome, Delinda.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Just
Anything else you
stopping
want to add?
by. You want to hear the saying that goes with that? Just stopping
Yes.
by to catch up with your realtor who really cuts the mustard. And I relish your referrals.
I love it. I love it. I love that script. All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right, Linda, same question. That one thing, or even 2 things if you want, whatever that, just puts you over the top as far as, you're going to be really good in this business.
Well, that's a hard one for me. It really is. But I would say for someone getting started, once again, I go back to being real, being genuine. I always try to
Hmm.
be genuine, or I try to tell the newer agents, or not even necessarily newer agents. I think the newbies and the top agents, they get into 2 categories. And then there's everybody in our company in the middle. And they're really doing well, but they don't always get the acknowledgement. And once again, I feel as though I've taken on this role of encouraging and saying, just be real, just be genuine. People realize I'm not a script person. I took a Tom Ferry course many years ago, and I got all his books and all that kind of stuff, and I read them and I listened, and then I put them aside. And then, but then I would take some of those scripts. Everything gets changed around to Linda's speech on the way I speak, and it comes out so natural that I don't think that it's a script. And just talking to you all right now, I've said these things over and over, so it's not really a script, but it's things that I believe in. So, agents of all levels, just be true to yourself, be real. And something I've always encouraged them is don't take on a client if you feel as though they are going to make it very, very difficult in your life. So when you first begin, you think, oh, I have to take every client. And as you realize, as we get older, more mature, or just many more years in the business, you don't want to work with everybody. Everybody is not nice. We think they're nice because they have lots of money, but no, they are not very nice people out there sometimes. So be prepared to walk away, hold your head up high, and don't look back, because any decision you make, it's the right decision. So if you always think back, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that, no, that's not a positive energy. You never want to go back and say I shoulda. You always look forward to whatever you're doing at that moment in time, and then hopefully that will come back to you with clients who are going to call you over and over. I've had clients in 20 plus years I've been working, and I'm on their 6th or 7th home for them already. So
Wow.
they know that I am their go-to person. They don't interview. And actually, the funny thing is, I don't go on interviews anymore for listings. I decided I
You
would
just,
give that up. If I don't know them and they're just a cold call, so to speak, hey, I heard about you, and I'll say, that's great. Who else are you interviewing? And if I do go in, I said, I want to be last, of course. I don't want to be the first one in. I want to be last. And I want to make sure that they know who I am. They don't know who I am, and I don't know who they are. So I want to make sure that we get to know each other. So I go in, I don't even have paperwork or anything with me. They're calling me because they heard about me. Now I'm going to tell my story, but I don't need all the pamphlets and the whatever brochures and all that kind of stuff. So I go on very few listing calls anymore. So they call me
you
and
just
I
go over and
work with
take them.
them. Or excuse me, I didn't hear you.
I said you just go over and take them.
Well, I don't want to waste my time. I want to work
Right.
with
I
people who
hear you.
want to work with me. That sounds a little cocky, but at this stage, I work because I choose to work now. It's fun. Thank goodness I don't need all the money. I still like the money. It's very nice, but I'm not doing it for that. I work by myself. I don't have a team. Never had a team. So I do everything by myself. This is the first year I actually hired a transaction coordinator, believe it or not. And just because that's one area of paperwork I don't want to do. She's great in our office. I send her over the information. She takes care of it for me. I think that's the best thing in the world. But I'm always on contact with my clients, so they know that the work's going to get done, and I follow up with my transaction coordinator. So
Awesome.
that's
I
who I
love
am,
it.
and that's the direction that I want to take my business now. As I said, different stages of your career. Where are you? Where were you then? Where were you? And now, where do I plan on going? And I want to work as long as I can possibly still open my eyes and every day, and still enjoy my life and my family, and make a few friends along the way.
I love
That's
it.
where I am right now.
Well, I didn't hear arrogance at all. What I heard was competence and confidence. That's what I heard. And authentic. I would add that in there too. Which is really
Thank
good
you.
to be today in today's world of anything but that. You're doing that's why, it's a good it's refreshing, honestly. All right. Thank you, Linda. All right, George, how about you?
Well, going back kind of what you're saying there, self-confidence to me is really important. And that just comes from knowing your market, knowing your numbers. For me, because I do have a team, I'm doing lots of training. I have newer agents. So we're constantly having these discussions because we want to be able to share information to these clients that don't know our area. You're not talking about the person that lives here on a day-to-day basis. We have a lot of people coming from all over the country, even all over the world. So knowing our numbers, being confident to be able to share that information, and to like what Delinda says, you have to listen to them, ask the questions, be a good listener, and then share the information, and not just verbally. You have to be able to back it up with documentation. We're talking with people that aren't, they don't know who we are, so we have to earn their trust, and we do that by sharing information. Yes, I do have those pool of my own clients, kind of like Linda, where I don't need to go out on a listing appointment. They call me up, hey, George, I want to sell. You go, you sign the paperwork, and you're done. So we have a mix, but really self-confidence, and again, not arrogance, just the knowledge of your market, understanding your numbers, how many homes for sale, what's the average discount, just giving the important information so they can make an educated decision. That's really what we do over here.
I love it. I love it. So true. And I know all three of you are super professional and you definitely follow through with that, which is great. All right. Anything else you'd like to add, Delinda? Anything that I didn't mention that you'd like to throw into the equation?
Um, I would say, like, when you're relationship developing, look at other streams of sources of business that you can get. Like, for example, I've got a number of attorney relationships, and because of that, I do quite a few probate listings. I've got relationships with senior assisted living centers, and so they refer me clients who are moving in who have homes to sell. But be thinking about, do I want to like work with attorneys that do divorces? Be thinking outside the box as to, what can I do different, or is there a niche area that I'd really like to specialize in?
Very good point, because there's a lot of those you can do well in. It could even be farming. It could be whatever. Like Linda works primarily one gigantic, humongous neighborhood. But whatever it is, there's a whole bunch of niches. And Delinda, let's face it, certain ones fit certain personalities better too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I have a heart for seniors. I'm not normally a patient person, but when I'm with seniors, I am like their mother hen, and I just want to protect them and take care of them. And I am super patient with them. And I was thinking too, another thing is I love my realtor relationships across the country and just the friendships that I've developed. And one thing I started doing about a year ago is I would send out a monthly video. I keep it to a minute or less and just talk about, share tips as to what I've done to build my business to where it is today.
I love it. As I text you when I was sitting there, I was sitting in the front row of Brian Buffini when he was speaking at National Convention, and your face was gigantic in front of, and he was giving you all kinds of props for using, his system. And I know that you do things outside of that, but that's great. I love it. And you know what? Having relationships, because let's face it, Vegas is a big destination. So, I mean, all three of our locations, people from California, if they're going to stay in California, They go to the desert. People from all over the world and country come to Vegas, come to Scottsdale, North Scottsdale. So having those relationships is very important. All right, awesome, Delinda. Thank you. Okay, Linda, any final words you want to mention to these lovely people out here in Facebook land?
I just wanted to add to the relationships. Delinda and George are great feeder markets as well for Arizona, for Scottsdale. George, especially your market, people are always narrowing it down between Palm Desert and Scottsdale. I mean, you say, well, where are you looking? Well, it's Palm Desert or Scottsdale. Well, which one do you like? And they do go back and forth. It seems to be everyone, many people I meet from California, they're deciding between Scottsdale and here. Sometimes sometimes they come here, sometimes they go to you. I haven't had that much luck with Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a whole big world out there, and I don't see. I know. I wish, and I too. Relationships are so important. I've met so many great people from around the country coming to some of the conventions. I'm not a big national convention person. Once again, I said those big crowds. I like Summit. I like these smaller venues. They make me feel more comfortable. That's just me personally. And so I met Delinda twice so far. I met her twice. I've seen you twice at some various conventions. You came right up to me, introduced yourself to me. We exchanged cards. We had conversations. I think that's really important. The relationships also with the local agents that I work with constantly, showing them respect, hopefully, and they respect me back for doing that. I do something very unique with a lot of the agents that don't necessarily come into Desert Mountain. Desert Mountain is such a unique community with 7 golf courses and 8 restaurants and everything under the sun that you can imagine here. I don't have to go that far, but what I do is I encourage, when I meet an agent I call off property, I invite them to lunch. I spend about an hour with them. I give them a short tour of a clubhouse or two. I want to encourage them to bring people into Desert Mountain and not feel uncomfortable. This always leads to them calling me and saying, hey, listen, I have somebody I'm bringing forward. Would you assist me or help me or do something? So it helps them. It helps me too. So, but I do that. I do a lot of lunches with a lot of offsite agents, and they are very receptive and very appreciative of that. And this way they feel comfortable. It's hard going into a community that you don't know. You don't want to be a fish out of water.
Right.
So I try to make them feel comfortable.
You're like the mayor and the welcome wagon of Desert Mountain.
Exactly. And I don't think Delinda or George have been out here. Have you?
Not to Desert
Have you
Mountain.
been? No.
No,
Well,
my
you're
phone
next
either,
time.
I travel to Arizona quite often, so I'll have to make a point to stop by and visit.
Well, please call me in advance. I will always make time. I would love to
She'll
show
show you
you
around.
lunch or dinner, whatever you like. And if you have some sticks with you, we can certainly see if we can get a game in. So once again,
But
it's networking and it's meeting some really nice people that we hope we can work together with.
I'll take you up on
Love
that,
it.
Linda.
I hope you do. I hope you do. I sincerely mean that.
Excellent. All right, George, how about you, my man? Wrap it up for us.
Well, I'll just say that I'll leave it with, I want to tell people to be positive. I know there's a lot of agents out there that are struggling right now with this market, and it's just a hurdle. We will overcome, as we always do. So be positive, stay the road, and be laser focused and do what you do best. I'll just leave it with that.
I love it. As politicians would say, be prudent, stay the course. Who used to say that? Oh, it was George H. I think used to say that. Be prudent.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to thank all 3 of you for taking your time out. You guys were awesome. This was great. I'm sure we got a bunch of nuggets. This will be playing on my YouTube channel for life. Okay. So thank you very much, the 3 of you, for taking your time out today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
All right, everybody.
Yeah, my pleasure as well. Thank you for having me.
All right. And we'll do this again next Wednesday. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.